Hey, hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How's about cooking something?
Hi, welcome back. I've got chocolate milk. And do you know what we're making today? In celebration of me just visiting my parents in Memphis, having some comforting chocolate milk with biscuits. Biscuits. When's the last time you had a biscuit? Did your mom make biscuits for you when you were little? When you were little? My mom made mine. And then for a brief stint in time, we bought the kind that you pop open, like by Pillsbury, but probably generic brand. Those were good too, but how about some homemade drop biscuits? Let's see how we do it. I've got my flour mix ready. I've got my recipe from my book, the Allergen-Free Baker's Handbook, but it's adapted. She uses shortening, and I don't want to use shortening. And so we're going to do this. We're going to try this. And I've got my cheat sheet here, because in this container, I have, I'm going to have to read it, 2 cups of my flour mix, whatever you choose, whether that's bought or you making your own with some form of brown rice, almond, millet, and all that jazz. A half a teaspoon of xanthan gum, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 a teaspoon of baking soda, plus 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then I also have 1/3 of a cup of flax meal here. So you can buy flax and grind it yourself, or you can buy it in package like this. Keep it in the refrigerator. It is like oil and it can go rancid, so you want to keep that in the refrigerator. So I've added that in, and then one of the first things that you want to do, which I've already started, but definitely making sure you make your buttermilk. So that here I have 3/4 of a cup of rice milk, and in it I put in 1 teaspoon of lemon. And so if you let that sit while you're measuring all of your ingredients and getting everything ready, it's going to kind of curdle it, the lemon is, and make it a buttermilk. So, fun, right? I'm going to get this all nice and mixed up. Looking ever so pretty. And really, I mean, that's about all the ingredients that we need. While we let that milk sit, we're going to get this mixed up. We also have 1/3 of a cup of applesauce that I'm going to measure in just a second. And one thing I am going to go ahead and do, guess what? We're going to use a sifter. I forgot to pull it out, so don't mind me. My sifter is real pretty. Don't hold it against me. I just don't wash it because it rusts. So, it's all good. It's kind of like old grease when they do hamburgers. I don't change that. You knew that, right? So I don't change this. Do you like using a sifter? Super fun, right? So while I'm sifting, I'll go ahead and also tell you you're going to preheat the oven to 375. Sorry, I hope you can hear me over this retarded thing. And then grease a pan. So this recipe says it makes 12 biscuits a night. Of course, cut it in half. So it's going to make up only about 6 biscuits, which is fine for me. And when I was young, I loved to eat biscuits and peanut butter, honey, whatever floats your boat. I mean, biscuits can be for breakfast, they can be for lunch, they can be a snack. Man, biscuits are good warm, biscuits are good cold, biscuits are good with soup. Serious. Alright, so if you haven't invested in a sifter, they're really great for gluten-free baking because it's just making that mix really nice and light and fluffy, and every now and then I do that to get it off the side here. And some of those flax isn't going to go through, and that's okay because it's just bigger. And that's why I'll give it a final whisk. So you can see a lot of that in there is brown, more brown than this, and so fun. And this is how you end up getting messy, because the flour goes everywhere, right? Alright, so one last whisk and mix. And you can tell me at home, did that look different than a minute ago? Maybe a little bit. Alright. So now I've got 1/3 of a cup of applesauce that I'm using instead of a oil or shortening mix. Give it some moisture. You can also put your flaxseed in your applesauce and it lets it kind of rise. The flax seeds give it volume. It's great for an egg replacer, in addition to being full of fiber and omegas and all sorts of really great for you things. So you don't have to do this, it's just kind of fun. Like if you had shortening and you use shortening, then you kind of, you know, cut the shortening in. But we don't have shortening, and I don't think it's very as important. So now I've got the milk. You can already see how it's kind of caused it to do some interesting separation there from the curdling. And now I'll give the nice paddle stir. I learned this in college. When I was in college earning my bachelor's degree for nutrition, we had to take a cooking class that taught you how to stir. So anyway, apparently now I know how to stir, and that's what my bachelor's degree taught me. So this is the batter, and if you let it sit here for just a couple minutes, what you'll notice is it actually does kind of rise, which is super cool because that's the flaxseed in action, and it's very, very entertaining. So what the recipe calls for is kind of rolling this out, but I've made them before and I like to do them just drop style. There's no need to roll this, pat this. Just gonna take some nice plops on a greased pan, and that's gonna be your biscuit. And if you want to be pretty and roll it out and get them more uniform, be my guest. But, you know, food's going to enter my stomach the same way no matter what it looks like. So I'm going to make this easy on myself. So I'm going to pop this in the oven, and I just want to make sure I'm going to tell you the right amount of time. 25 minutes, 375. I'll see you then. Don't mind me, I was chewing my bite of biscuit. Now you can see these biscuits are pretty dark. Don't make these expecting some old school grandma biscuit that's all buttery and white. The flaxseed makes it dark. You can see they're crispy on top. That's what the drop biscuit does versus rolling it out. And I don't recommend rolling these. The batter is super duper sticky and messy, so you don't want to do that. And then also another recommendation, make them on the smaller side, less than an inch tall, so the insides will cook completely. See, they're nice and hearty biscuits. Definitely a healthy flavor. Take that to mean whatever you want. I guess I got so caught up in Memphis land, you know, you just want that white bread biscuit that's like a McDonald's biscuit. This is a little more wheat bread. That's alright though. I put some homemade pecan butter on that stuff. Make me a little sandwich. Don't mind me. Not too bad. Not too bad. What are you going to have with your biscuits? Are you going to talk with your mouth full too? My mom would be embarrassed. Oh well, as I say, eat it up.
Till it's covered with age, 'cause I'm writing your name down on every page. Say, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me?